Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy Izukage here with my first what if, and this what if is what if Deku had a shape-shifting quirk. Let's begin. Alright, guys, so we're gonna start off this what if with 4-year-old Deku on his way to the Quirk doctor. On the ride to the doctor's office, Izuku was playing with his favorite All My action figure. When they finally reached, Izuku saw Bakugo and his sister. He ran up to Bakugo yelling, "Hey Kachan, did you find out what your quirk was?" Yeah, it's kind of like my mom's and dad's quirk, or something like that, but it's called Explosion, and I'm gonna be the greatest hero. Whoa, Kachan, that's so cool. Yeah, I know. Well, I hope mine gonna be as cool as yours. Yeah, maybe. And I'm guessing Katsumi has a similar quirk? Katsumi spoke up and said, "Yeah, but it's nowhere as strong as Big Bros." So after that conversation, Izuku went and got some tests taken, and after an hour, Izuku and his mom were called into the doctor's office. "Hi, Mrs. Midoriya, please take a seat." "So, doctor, what's his quirk?" "Well, you see, we don't know." What do you mean by that?" "You see, he has no joints in his toes. Normally, it's possible to diagnose a person as having or lacking a quirk by analyzing the presence or absence of an extra joint in their pinky toe. Simply put, people with one joint develop a quirk, while people with two joints indicates they're quirkless. But the thing that puzzles me is your son doesn't have a quirk. So is he quirkless? I mean, he shows no signs of a quirk, but he may be a late bloomer. So I'd say give it a year, and if he doesn't start to show signs, then there's a high chance he won't develop a quirk. Izuku, hearing this, just everything that he's wanted to be as a child just broke in that moment. He started crying his eyes out, and Inko tried to comfort him, but he wouldn't stop crying. So she took him back to the car, and on the way home, he passed out from crying so much. So we're gonna have a time skip to the start of the anime. Deku is 14 years old. Deku hasn't showed any signs of developing a quirk, so many people just thought he was quirkless, and because of this, he was bullied even more than in canon. During his bullying, he was more psychologically affected, and every day he was beaten up by Bakugo and his goons, and he had bruises, cuts, and even a handprint with scorch marks around it right in the middle of his chest. On the last day of middle school, the teacher walked in the class and said, "I was going to pass out some career aptitude tests, but I know you all want to be heroes." Everybody started showing off their quirks. This guy pulled his eyes out of his sockets. Just everybody being all flashy. Then Bakugo chimed in, "Hey, teach, don't lump me in with these bunch of losers. I'm the real deal. And these guys, they'll be lucky to be some heroes' sidekicks. That's why I applied to UA." Everybody started murmuring, whoa, he applied to UA? That's the national school. And the teacher said, "Yes, Bakugo, your test scores do need a little improving, but you have the best physical ability and strongest quirk in the school, so I think that getting into UA is a guarantee for you." "Wait, but it says here 2 people want to go to UA. Midoriya, you want to go to UA?" Deku just sat there looking down at his book and said, "Yeah, so what?" Bakugo just shot out of his desk. "There's no way they're letting in a quirkless wannabe into UA when they could have me." Deku just sat in silence while Bakugo was yelling at him with explosions in his hands, getting angrier by the second, before the teacher told him to sit down, which he reluctantly did. After school, Deku was packing his books into his bags to go home when Bakugo came up to him and told him, "UA will never accept a quirkless loser like you. But I know a way that's a guarantee." Deku was honestly surprised that the person who had been bullying him for years actually wanted to help him. And the memories of when they were younger, playing in the sandboxes and with their action figures, he cracked a little smile and he said hesitantly, Okay, how? It's like, maybe when you jump off the roof, you'll get a quirk in your next life. Bakugo just laughed at him and blew up his book. And as he was about to throw it out the window, his sister ran up trying to stop him, but he shoved her off, knocking her to the ground. He left the class with his goons, leaving Deku and Katsumi in the room with dead silence. Deku began to slowly pick up his bag and walk to the staircase. He looked at the flight going down, and all he saw was it led to a miserable life. And he looked at the flight going up, and he saw a way to escape his misery. Deku began to go up the stairs to the roof, and Katsumi realized this and started following him. Deku got to the roof and climbed onto the edge, and what he saw was incredible. He saw freedom, free of pain, free of suffering, free of Bakugo. Deku began to take the final steps to his heaven, and he saw his mom crying, and then he just thought, what would she do if he was gone? Then he heard a faint crying behind him, and then someone screaming his name. He turned around and saw Katsumi in tears. She ran up to him, pleading for him to get down, that it's not worth it. Bakugo is just dumb and doesn't know what he's talking about. Deku can hardly make out what she's saying, but one thing that stood out to him is when she said, "Please, don't do it. How would I live on without you? I want to be with you forever." This reminded Deku of all the times she stood up for him, all the time he caught her staring at him, and all the time she just got flustered whenever he was around her. Deku came down from the ledge and started hugging Katsumi, who was still crying her eyes out. Then he felt weird, but not because he was hugging a girl for the first time. He felt his bones shifting and moving around. Katsumi finally wiped her tears, and what she saw made her jaw drop. She saw herself. Deku had somehow morphed into an exact copy of her. Deku started holding his head as the pain from all his moving organs and bones, shifting places, growing, shrinking, it just left him in so much pain he couldn't endure it. Deku woke up after that he passed out. After a few hours, Deku woke up to two sleeping ladies, Katsumi and Inko. As his eyes adjusted to the bright hospital lights, he saw a TV that was reporting on a recent villain attack. And the reporter said, "Earlier today, All Might arrived on the scene of a hostage situation, but it didn't go as smoothly as he would have liked. The hostage was erratic and started panicking, letting off explosions which hit All Might, but luckily didn't seem to faze him. He punched the sludge villain away and told the kid, quote, 'Keep a level head, kid, in dire situations or someone could get hurt,' before jumping off. Deku, realizing that the hostage was Bakugo, chuckled a little, seeing that a little bad karma finally went his way. This light sound woke Inko, who saw her son was okay, and shot straight up to hug him in tears and tell him never to do that again. She's here for him. She's his mother. Deku said, "Mom, I can't breathe. You're lying on my chest." He's like, "Oh, sorry, but I'm serious when I say I'm here for you always, Deku. Izuku." "Yeah, Mom, I know." Katsumi woke up and she saw Deku, tears welled up in her eyes, and she ran to him, giving him a swift hit in the head. "Dummy, why would you ever try that? What would I do without you?" Deku, hearing this, just scratched the back of his head, and when she finally calmed down, she asked him, "Also, how did you turn into me? On your way here, you reverted back, but that was pretty weird." As they were talking, the doctor walked in and said, "Well, Izuku Midoriya, it seems you have developed your quirk." hope you guys enjoyed that what if you like, if you didn't, dislike. And if you want me to change up the what if, how I do it, just leave it in a comment. I'm open to any changes, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.